Time never follows the path dictated by man. Man has to follow the path dictated by time. Opposition is not a proof of strength. The strong are those who are tolerant. When anger and opposition are removed from the heart, then the power of tolerance becomes the power of religion. From anger comes revenge, and from religion comes justice. If there comes a time in your life when some injustice is done to you, then before doing justice, you must control your anger. The tree that bears bitter fruit must be uprooted, and a tree that bears sweet fruit must be planted. Sweet fruit cannot be obtained by feeding that tree or by pruning its branches. To purify the future, it is inevitable to destroy this impure present. Look at the first ray of the rising sun of the future, which is waiting for everyone.
The soul considers its body as everything and cannot know that it is different from the body. It accepts the pain, happiness, taste, smell, etc. of the body as its own experience and does not make any attempt to change. The soul that does not make any attempt to change and continues to commit sins is inevitably punished to awaken it. You also know that you are not a body but only a soul. All the people seen in this world are not what you consider them to be. They are only living in the body for some time. Their bodies will die, but they are all immortal. They will again take on a new body.
Love gives progress, gives knowledge of right and wrong. There is a difference between love and infatuation. What is love in reality is not infatuation. Love is born of compassion, and infatuation is born of pride. Love liberates, infatuation binds. Love is religion, and infatuation is unrighteousness. At the moment of making a decision, we always rely on the advice, guidance, or counsel of another person. And the basis of our future is the decision we make today. So is our future the result of the advice of another person? The advice given by another person? So is our entire life the result of the wisdom of another person? Have we ever judged? Everyone knows that different people give different advice in the same situation. It is appropriate to donate as a devotee standing in a temple. And if you get the opportunity as a thief, you should steal the jewelry of that idol. A pious heart gives pious advice, and an unrighteous heart gives unrighteous advice. If you accept this pious advice, a person goes towards happiness. But before accepting such advice, isn't it much more important to establish religion in your own heart? Judge for yourself.
The basis of all human relationships is expectation. What kind of husband will be who will fill my life with happiness and convenience? What kind of wife will be who will always be devoted to me? What kind of child will be who will serve me, obey my orders? A person can give love only to the one who can fulfill his expectations. And the destiny of expectations is to be broken. How? Because no person can fulfill all the expectations of anyone, even if he has a strong desire. And from that, conflict is born. All relationships turn into conflict. But if a person does not make expectations the basis of relationships and accepts that only relationships are the main basis, then will life not be filled with happiness and peace by itself? Judge for yourself.
Whenever an adverse situation arises in a person's life, he prays to God. He pleads before God to get rid of the situation. But what is the actual form of this prayer? Have we ever considered it? Prayer means offering all one's desires, all thoughts, all determinations, all plans at the feet of God. That is, to do religious work without worrying about the results of one's actions. Accepting God's plans as destiny is prayer, isn't it? But is it possible to understand all God's plans? Those plans always manifest as the results of our actions. But if someone abandons all actions, is that real prayer? In reality, action is life, and not being attached to the results is real prayer. Is prayer that becomes an obstacle in the path of action that does not allow a person to do any action a prayer or a defeat? Judge for yourself.
When one gets suffering instead of one's good deeds, or someone gets happiness by doing bad deeds, then the mind must think, what is the significance of doing good deeds, of following the path of religion? But also see what the evil soul has to suffer. The mind of one who does bad deeds is always restless. New conflicts always arise in the mind. Disbelief keeps haunting him throughout his life. What is this called happiness? The person who follows the path of religion is always engaged in good deeds. The heart of a person with good character is always calm. Circumstances do not become an obstacle to the happiness of his life. His respect and satisfaction in society are always intact. That is, good behavior does not show the path to happiness in the future. Good behavior itself gives happiness. On the other hand, bad behavior does not show the path to sadness in the future. Unrighteousness produces sadness at that moment. Happiness cannot be obtained from religion. Religion itself is happiness.
The future is created every day, every moment. The future is nothing. The consequences of people's decisions and actions today are the future of tomorrow. If you feel satisfied with the decision today, then have faith that you will definitely get happiness from it in the future.
The one who gives up food to get rid of the taste never actually leaves his mind. He suffers two types of loss. First, he becomes weak, due to which he is not able to make the effort that is inevitable to attain the Supreme Soul. And secondly, his mind is always full of the desire to enjoy taste. For this reason, a better act than giving up food is to give up the desire to enjoy taste. The Karma Yogi eliminates all the desires of his mind, considers his life a duty, and does the work as a must, and does not get attached to that work. That is, the person who does not have hopes or aspirations from his work is fulfilled.
Fear always resides in human life. Sometimes fear of property loss, sometimes fear of humiliation, sometimes fear of separation from loved ones. That is why the existence of fear seems to be the same for everyone. Have you ever considered any situation or object that gives rise to fear? In reality, suffering is created from it? No, there is no such rule, and everyone's experience says that if you hold fear, the prevention of future suffering is reduced. Fear is only an imagination of future suffering. It has no relation to reality. Fear is nothing more than an imagination. Is it very difficult to get rid of fear? Definitely try it.
The new generation has to bear the burden of the wishes, hopes, great aspirations, anger, hatred, revenge of the ancestors. Parents want to give their children all the happiness in the world, but they give them their accumulated wealth. They want to give nectar, but at the same time they fill the pot with poison. Judge for yourself what you have given your children in life. Of course, you will give them love, knowledge, property. But along with that, you have not given poison to their minds? Have you not given them a pre-planned interpretation of good and evil with preconditions? Isn't this conflict between individual and individual, society and society, state and state, created from a pre-planned interpretation? Are these pre-planned expressions of love, murder, death, bloodshed, along with the manifestation of hatred, the darkness and gifts? Whether it is of the mind, heart, or reality, only fear arises from it. Only fear. Judge for yourself. Sometimes an incident breaks all the plans of a person's life, and a person makes that blow the center of his life. But is the future not built on the basis of a person's plans? Just as a person who climbs a high mountain first and sits at the foot of that mountain, can the plan he plans take him to the top of the mountain? No. In reality, the higher he climbs, the more he faces new tests, new obstacles, new types of blockades. At every step, he has to decide his next step. At every step, he has to change his plan. Otherwise, if the old plan pushes him towards the abyss, he cannot make the mountain worthy of him. He can only try to make himself worthy of the mountain. Well, that's how it is in life, isn't it? When a person makes a barrier in one area, some blockade, the center of his life, stops the movement of his life, then he cannot succeed in his life. He cannot achieve happiness and peace. In other words, isn't the only path to success and happiness to make yourself worthy of life rather than making life worthy of you? Judge for yourself.
Trying to fill the future of your children with happiness. This is the first duty of every parent. Those whom you have brought into this world, through whose actions you will also get to know in the future. What could be more important than making their future happy? But aren't these happiness and protection derived from human actions? Are not these good or bad reforms given by parents, or their protection derived from human actions? Are not these good or bad reforms given by parents, or the appropriate or inappropriate education given by them the root of all actions today? A person's character is formed from reforms and education. That is, as parents build the character of their children, so is their future. But still, most parents forget about the work of building their characters while thinking about securing the future of their children. In fact, parents who only think about the future of their children build the character of that child. The world praises them. Judge for yourself.
Women are always treated unfairly in society. Human society has always exploited, wronged, and humiliated women. Look around you, look at the entire history, you will see the same pattern, that women suffer the consequences of men's jealousy, pride, hostility, lust, all these evil thoughts. Men wage war and women are raped in defeated cities. Men lose their property through drinking and prostitution, and women suffer from hunger. Men's pride is damaged and women's freedom and happiness are hindered. Men, defeated in life, abandon their families, and women start fighting to satisfy the hunger of their children. Calculate the suffering of the entire world and you will clearly see that women suffer more than men. What kind of society have we created, where half of humanity is constantly trampling on the other half? And look at that fallen woman, the future giver of humanity. God has created a flower bed around the seed that gives birth to a new tree. He has filled it with color and fragrance. Where the future is born, shouldn't there be only beauty, only happiness, contentment and respect? But society continues to fill the entire future with sorrow by making women suffer. How can a woman who's just been burned by beatings, exploitation and rape give birth to a healthy, happy child? That is, whenever a woman is humiliated, a woman is exploited, a woman's hair is pulled, at that time a war is born in some form or the other. Somehow or other, the Mahabharata begins. Judge for yourself. Judge again and again.
Happiness is not achieved by those who desire it, but by those who know it. If you know what happiness is for you, then you will definitely achieve it.
He who lives his life with only his own friends becomes powerless. But he who lives his life with the friends of the entire society in his heart becomes strong. Happiness is something to be realized, not something to be obtained. A person who considers things as happiness does not actually attain happiness. Whoever considers beings or possessions as happiness certainly invites destruction for himself.